Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my second Hall of Novice video. Now in the first video I covered the tank set of Hall of Novice skills, or training exercises. In this video I will be covering the DPS side. I will be doing this as a ninja, and I will be providing additional commentary on certain functions that they teach. Now if you haven't watched the tank one, I just want to let you know that the Hall of Novice does reward a full set of beginner gear, or I shouldn't say a full set, it rewards 4 pieces of level 15 gear. On top of that, upon completing all of the exercises, it rewards you with a ring, and now you only get this ring the first time you complete all the exercises on a single roll, so you don't get multiples of this ring. However, you get a ring that gives +3 to all of your stats, as well as increasing EXP earned by 30% when level 30 and below. You just need to complete the Hall of Novice once on any roll and you will earn this ring. So if you have any jobs or classes that are under level 30 that are combat classes, Disciples of War or Magic, then you should probably do the Hall of Novice for this reward. We are going to talk to the Smith, and in case you're wondering how to access this, this is one of several locations to find the Hall of Novice. You can find it just outside of the Sastasha dungeon, you can find it here, and on top of that you can find it in all 3 major cities, Western Thanalan, Eastern Thanalan, and Central Shroud. On that note, let's talk to the Smith and get started with the DPS exercises. Assist allies in defeating a target. Now this one is pretty much the quintessential thing you see happen in the early level duty finders, where the DPS just kind of attack whatever the hell they want. And a lot of the times, newer tanks have issues holding aggro. Experienced tanks who are playing at the low level may not have issue with that, but newer and inexperienced tanks do. So this is going to teach you how to basically follow what your tank is attacking. Well, I can just attack whatever enemy I please. My group will just not give me any commendations. Now, again, in these exercises, we are capped at level 15, so a lot of my skills are unavailable here, so just keep that in mind. Alright, that was a lot more explanation than we needed for the DPS one. After he gives that long and unnecessary explanation to just say, hey, you should attack the same target as your tank, we will begin training exercise number 1. Now, a lot of questions that I will probably get for the duration of this. Make sure your buffs are up. In this case, I'm a ninja, so Kiss of the Wasp, Monks, Fists of Fire. Eventually, you'll get that later on. Make sure you're keeping up buffs such as Heavy Thrust. Now, one thing a lot of people ask me is at the low levels, should I use my dots? Now, Mutilation at this level only lasts, or Mutilate, I should say. Mutilation's the name of the dot itself. Should you use your dots at these low levels? A lot of the times enemies die so fast dots aren't worth using. In this case, the enemy has survived an entire rotation of my mutilation, so that gives it a total potency of 6 times 30 plus 60, so 240. It's a very, very effective use of a global cooldown. Also, we have our proc skill here with mutilation. With Assassinate, I keep saying Mutilation, why? I don't know why I keep doing that. So this was, I feel, not exactly what the exercise should have bothered even saying. It was trying to teach me to follow my tank's, order. My tank says, hey, fight these targets in this order, then I should. But there was only one target to fight there. I have a feeling one of the other challenges will probably have me go up against more than a single target. Defeat an occupied target. Okay. Remember, each of these exercises does give experience points and gil. Some of them do give armor as well, so it can be very useful for getting a few up-to-date pieces of armor before going into your first dungeon. On top of that, ring. Especially get that ring. Also, keep in mind that that ring actually works if you're synced under level 30. So even if you're over level 30, if you end up getting synced into a dungeon that is under level 30, it will take effect as well. Say the word. Alright, now we're up against 3 targets. So let's pay attention to which target this guy goes after. Be sure to attack the same enemy as your ally. Strike the wrong foe. So he's going for this target first. He's also, you can see he's using flash occasionally to hold aggro on multiple enemies. He's not only using it once, so he's going after the quick-fisted training partner again, or going after him first. Now you'll notice he took out the healer first, now he's taking out the damage, then he'll take out the enemy tank. Although when you're in dungeons it hardly ever feels like there's a difference in damage between all of them. Also, because it keeps sinking me down, Kiss of the Wasp fell off. So that tip that I gave you last time, follow it for certain. Every time you get level synced, things like buffs will fall off of you. So if you find yourself being level synced often, be ready to deal with that. Reward number 2. Hey, at least I'm getting tons of gil out of this, right? 200 gil a pop? Pfft. Can almost buy the whole world with that. Alright, let's register for the next one. Avoid engaged targets. Alright. Yes, I do remember the lesson where you had me evading... Wait a minute. The lesson where you had me evading enemy attacks. That was when I was a tank. I haven't had to avoid any enemy attacks. Did I have to do that? Isn't this... I killed 1 target, then I killed 3 targets. When have I had to avoid enemy attacks? Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. Alright, whatever. We'll have to avoid enemy attacks here. Basically, what this is trying to teach you is how to dodge AoEs and deal damage at the same time. Let's get our buff up, Kiss of the Wasp. So I cannot be hit 5 times. Now remember, as a physical DPS, you do need a minimum amount of accuracy in order to hit enemies from different sides. Enemies have the least amount of evasion from the rear, the most amount from their front, and an in-between amount from their flanks, which are their sides. Now you saw that I actually almost fell victim to what is known as animation locking there. My ability, Assassinate, actually causes me to be stuck in place for about a second, and that almost caused me to be hit by an AoE. That's something you have to be careful about, especially on the Dragoon job, the Ninja job, and I feel like there's one more. I mean, Warrior can technically home gang, which keeps them in place, but you have to do that pretty specifically. Shoulder Tackle also has a slight animation lock, so I suppose Monk as well. Basically the melee DPS. Now it's going to teach us to deal with enemy reinforcements, wherein as a DPS, when new enemies appear, what do you do? Mostly this applies to bosses. These sudden arrivals will target your weakest comrade, so you must be quick to eliminate them. They don't always go for the... Well, in this case, they always go for the weakest one. They don't always do that outside of healing aggro. Turn on Kiss of the Wasp, as we always do. Now keep in mind, as a ninja, I do have Shade Shift to prevent taking some physical damage, not like it ever seems to really matter. And as you can see, that's actually coming in handy against this one enemy. Now you'll notice that the tank didn't even bother to pick up those ads. Those ads are, if ads are that weak, it is okay for the tank to not leave the target they're currently on, and to just have the DPS leave the target, kill it, and then come back. That is okay in situations where enemies are this kind of weak. On top of that, that enemy dies so fast, that is a good example of a time I did not use Mutilate. Because by the time I had killed him, would have basically just only been like half done. Alright, next duty has been complete. Has been completed. Happy, please, language. We are on to exercise number 6. I believe we have, including this one, 3 exercises to go. There were 8 tank exercises in total. I'm assuming it will be the same with the DPS. Oh-ho. Interact with the battlefield. So, this is basically just teaching you about fights where there's things such as levers or items to pick up in order to do certain mechanics. In this case, enemies are going to pour out of a gate until I close it using the nearby lever. After that, our goal is to defeat the enemy. Now, he said it will be from the rear gate, so I'm going to keep my eye on that one. Now, what I'm going to do to make sure I can see the rear gate is I'm actually facing the target and attacking it, but I have my camera swiveled in such a way where I can actually see the gate lever. On top of that, I will go directly for the training automaton, which in this case I probably should have gone for first. I wanted to see if I could shut the gate on his face, but it didn't seem to work. It also doesn't help very much that the NPC is tanking him in the middle of the room as far away from the gate as possible. As a tank, it's better to try and tank it nearby. That way, the DPS don't have to run so far. Also, as a ranged DPS, it's a little bit easier to do. Luckily, I only had to close the gate once. And the first time you'll see a mechanic where you really need to toy with gates is in Sastasha. The last boss will have little water ducts, I guess. There'll be like 4 ducts that you can close. When they start bubbling, if you click them and interact with them, you can actually close them and it will prevent ads from spawning. It's basically exactly like that last one. Was that the last one? Wait a minute. No. Wait. Oh no, I want to do the final exercise. So apparently if you've completed the final exercise on another class, it won't actually let you do it. And there was only 7. There was only 7 exercises for DPS. There was 8 for tank. So yeah, I completed the final exercise on my tank, and so it didn't show up on the list for DPS. So if you want to do the final exercise, which you probably won't really need to do, you can actually do it by clicking the complete previously completed exercises. As a tank, this was pretty simple. As a DPS, it'll again put things to test. test things that you've learned in all of your previous things. And this is actually the exercise where the first time you complete the final exercise, you get that ring that I showed you earlier. Alright, let's give it a shot. So as a DPS, we're going to wait for the tank to go in first. Now, you're seeing that the Gladiator is not moving out of AoEs. Please, tanks, move out of AoEs. I beg you. I've got Shade Shift. If you're a DPS and you do have a defensive tool and you're off-soloing a mob like this as part of a fight, I do highly recommend that you actually use those skills that give you a little bit more survivability. Obviously, it doesn't last for very long on me, because I'm the only one being attacked, but it's better than nothing. Makes the life of your healers a little bit easier. Alright, let's move on to the next challenge. Again, we'll wait for the tank to go first. Now, one thing I'll say is that their tank NPC is only focusing on a single target. I actually missed right there. Which he should probably... I don't think I saw him use flash once, which is not good. He's also standing in every AoE, which is also not good. It's just trying to teach me to follow his target. That being said, it would be more effective if the NPC was actually forced to use their AoE enmity skill so that DPS can identify with it. And then this fight's pretty simple. As a DPS, just gotta finish him off. And that's it for the Hall of Novice on DPS. He'll actually turn and face me with AoEs as well, though. Nothing too rough. Hopefully, you enjoyed the Hall of Novice, my little bit of additional explanation on top of it. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. For more Final Fantasy XIV information, news, guides, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section of the video below. And again, if you have not done the Hall of Novice, please go do so, especially if you're a new player. It is an excellent tool for teaching new players the bare bone basics of the game, whether that's the terminology, I'm pulling aggro off of the NPC. Good to know I'm better than the NPC. Good to know. Good to know I'm at level 15, I'm better than the NPC. Because I pulled aggro off of it. Alright, and here we go. Alright, I already have the brand new ring, so it's not going to give me another one, mind you. However, if you do lose that ring, you can come back here and get it again by completing that challenge again. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I'm going to move on and record for the healer version of the Hall of Novice. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care.